Richard Dreyfuss appeared on Today Extra this morning to share a statement on how he felt about an interview he did with The Project on Sunday night. Dreyfuss, 70, and fellow actor Kathleen Turner, 64, are in the country to attend the fan convention Supernova and appeared on The Project as part of their promotional tour. After a few minutes of banter about fan conventions, the conversation turned to the current state of Hollywood, specifically the Me Too movement, that resulted after multiple high-profile men were accused of sexual misconduct. Co-host Lisa Wilkinson said to Dreyfuss, "I presume you're not uncomfortable with this, because you had to put out a statement in response to one of your colleagues calling you out for behavior going back decades. You did a very mea culpa statement in response to that, a very reflective statement talking about the macho culture in Hollywood." Network 10. At this point Wilkinson read out Dreyfuss' previously released statement, "I lived by the motto, if you don't flirt, you die. And flirt I did. I flirted with all women, be they actresses, producers or 80-year-old grandmothers. I even flirted with those who were out of bounds, like the wives of some of my best friends, which especially revolts me." She then asked Dreyfuss, "Did it revolt you in the years afterwards, or only really, when Me Too held a mirror up to Hollywood?" Dreyfuss, whose mood had visibly shifted, replied, "It revolted me immediately and that's what I stopped. Between the years like 79 to 82, 83, I was a low-down dirty dog, and I did lots of things that I'm ashamed of now. But they were all culturally supported, as all men know, as all women know, they just don't want to remember it that way. DATA-REACTROOT equals data react DATA-REACT-CHECKSUM equals 511,986,914 data react react MT 4 react MT 5 react MT 6. It was this interview that Dreyfuss, the star of iconic Hollywood films including Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, took to task during a segment on Today Extra, which he recorded, live from Perth this morning. In the statement, Dreyfuss likened the Project's interview to being mugged, and slammed the show and hosts for promising a light and friendly chat that in the end was brutally not. Dreyfuss' full statement, which he mostly read, is as follows. "Yes, I didn't make statements about either of those things, statements were made about me. And that's why I'd like to clarify them, if you don't mind. I was mugged the other night in Sydney, Australia, not by a petty thief, but by the host and hostesses of a talk show called The Project. Kathleen Turner and I had been invited on the show to have a light, friendly chat about the Autograph show that we were participating in Sydney and in Perth, as that invitation to a specifically light and friendly chat was being repeated to us by 2 or 3 of the show's staff. Questions were prepared and entered into the teleprompters that could be referred to by Lisa Wilkinson and Hamish MacDonald, 2 of the hosts. Light and friendly didn't survive until the end of the first sentence. It was directed as a question to Kathleen, something about, has Hollywood changed in the last year in its treatment of men towards women? The second question was directed at me by Lisa. And just to put this in context, I had been accused of sexual misconduct last November the 7th. I was asked to remember something that had happened 30 years previously. It was apparently a flirtation that I was involved in and did not know was not consensual. And her question to me was, Richard, did you express your shame because you had worked at realizing that you had done something shameful, or because you had been accused and caught out? Richard Dreyfuss in 2017, Getty. So, why they had made such a point of repeating that we were doing to have a light and friendly chat while keeping the real questions so secret, I have no idea. But they never asked me to have the chat they wanted to have. I think I might have said yes, had they asked it in the proper tone of voice. Instead, they chose to commit a breach of ethical behavior, meant to be malignant and sly, and known as wrong by every journalist in the world, unless you're talking to someone who you're trying to entrap, because you think that he's a murderer or a rapist. The behavior of those through whom you get your news is the reason I'm here this morning. It is not about my alleged behavior then, now, or ever. You can dismiss what I am saying now as I am being defensive, and the television personalities involved will just continue to confuse what is right and what is wrong behavior. I assure you that in my country there is an enormous decay going on, an assault and drowning of this kind of trickery is going on every day. And I would ask, why would you want to emulate America at its worst? You should try to emulate America at its very famous best. And I would also say that the reason that television hosts and hostesses don't ask the right question is because of the same reason ours don't. It's that they have a contempt for their viewers and their guests. Your viewers should watch out for that, because that's where you're getting your information. America does no longer respect a Bill of Rights. You should. And don't go down with a sinking ship. That's it. When hosts Sonia Kruger and David Campbell asked Dreyfus if he had said everything he wanted to say, he said, "I think I have said my piece, yes, as long as you heard that I was told it was going to be light and fluffy, and it was in fact brutally not." Richard Dreyfus, Far Right, and Jaws, Universal Pictures. Though he did add at the end, "I have not answered how I feel about the Me Too movement, because there is no shape of a show that allows for a complex question to be asked and answered. Everything has been reduced to 8-second sound bites. So, therefore, I will not talk about it under those circumstances. It requires an article or a book. And my life is, in fact, a book."